Welcome to the Warehouse. Has a Sunday sermon ever left you running to Google with new theological questions? Have you ever wished you could peer behind the curtain and see how a message comes together? That's where we come in. Here at Cornerstone Church, we spend hours every week talking about Scripture. This is the place to learn about passages, dive into their context, and study the Bible's cultural background. Come to the Warehouse, where we extend what you learn from the stage. Let's talk cheese.
Let's
What do
do
you say?
it. Let's do it.
Everybody loves cheese.
Not everyone, actually.
It's not
That's
my
not
favorite,
a fact.
actually.
My eldest daughter, Abigail, does not eat cheese.
Oh.
And I don't know. She's not lactose intolerant or anything. She just does not like it. And consistently.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if we get pizza for everybody, we have to get her, like, garlic bread or something that doesn't have cheese. It's
Interesting.
kind of odd. Like, most kids love cheese.
Yeah, my kid, like Bennett, he prefers not to have cheese on his sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't love grilled cheese, but he will eat pizza because it has cheese.
Okay.
So,
You say sandwich with an M?
sandwich.
Yeah.
Sandwich.
I don't know. I like
Sandwich.
sandwich. It feels comfortable.
Sandwich.
Okay, so favorite cheese for you guys?
Favorite cheese. I'm honestly like simple. Like I really like sharp cheddar.
Nope.
Mozzarella.
That's a good
Mozzarella's
one.
good. Yeah.
Sharp cheddar, like on something, or just like to eat it, like
Dude, I'll just eat it.
Mhm.
Yeah, just sharp cheddar, like the little cubes,
Wow.
or maybe put it on a cracker or something. But yeah, I love sharp cheddar.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's good to me.
Stephanie has a very different opinion about cheddar cheese.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's probably my least favorite.
That's okay.
Yeah, sweet. We span the gamut of.
I'm more of like a provolone
Mhm.
or a mozzarella or
What is it you like about them?
I don't know.
Okay, no, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm like, I just like
Provolone's a little dull to me.
it. Mm.
A little
Yeah.
dull.
Some of it, like sometimes it has like a nice smokiness to it. and I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
On like a roast beef or Italian beef, I really like provolone. I like the way it melts on there. Steph, it's very good.
Good. It's good. Yours?
Allie Keel clued us in that Havarti is like the best for grilled cheese.
It's really good.
The way it melts and stuff is just like perfect. So if you're, pro tip, like Havarti on sourdough makes just like, I think the best grilled cheese. I haven't tried it with homemade sourdough yet, Stephanie.
Well, I could make you some, Nathan.
Yeah.
Havarti is really good, though.
It is really good.
It's a good one. I agree with you.
So I feel like, I like a variety of them. I don't really like blue cheese very much. It's a little too strong for me.
Yeah, I like it. But that's the thing though. I don't just eat it. Like I'm not just, I want blue cheese. It's with wings and then salad. I like it on a salad either. And I'll do either the crumbles or the dressing.
Yeah.
I enjoy it on something.
Yeah.
I can go either way with blue cheese. I have to be in the mood. But sometimes they'll put too many crumbles on the too much. No, I'm not a fan.
Yeah. So my family does like, we like to go to the Wisconsin Dells, and they're obviously known for like producing cheese. And so last time we were there, we went to like a little cheese shop, and they had samples out, and like I had some, I think it was like a mixture of goat and sheep cheese, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm doing
like
a
I actually
disgusted
bought
face
like
right now.
Goat
a
cheese
block
is
of it.
good.
It was really good.
Really?
It had like a lot of complexity to it. It was one of those like you just want to take a small piece of it and just kind of let it melt in your mouth a little bit. The flavor evolved. I'm like, okay, this is really good. Sometimes on a cheeseburger though, I think it's hard to beat just like American cheese.
Yeah.
Parker already expressed his hatred for American cheese and all things America. Just kidding. And but like for some reason, like American cheese on a burger, I think is still the way to go.
It's so good. Yeah. I love it. Cheeseburger, American cheese does.
Yeah.
Sometimes those places will do like a cheddar cheese on it.
It's
and
fine.
Like I said, I like cheddar cheese, but I don't really want it on my
I like
burger.
Swiss on a burger.
Really?
I love mushroom Swiss burgers.
Yeah. Shelby and I did so like 2 years ago, Aldi had those advent calendars and they usually have like a chocolate one and we did a cheese one.
Oh man.
And it was good. I mean, there was different Goudas in there, all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah.
Some of them were pretty raunch. Like, yeah. But most of them were good.
Yeah.
Most of them
I like
were good.
pepper jack.
Yeah.
One that surprised me
Is
is like
there
walking-
one cheese that you guys don't like? You said blue cheese. Anything other than blue cheese, Nathan?
I mean, I don't know the name of one that I don't like.
feel like we're listing all of the cheeses. And it's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, that one's good too.
The one that
That's
like
good.
surprised me the most, I always thought of Parmesan just as like the one that you grind up and put on your spaghetti.
Yeah.
But like we were walking around Sam's one day and they had like an aged Parmesan. And I took like just a block of it, and it was like one of the best cheeses I've ever tasted. So
that still wasn't your least favorite.
no.
Let's do another one that you liked.
Yeah, no, it was still another one I liked. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also speaking of, no,
I really like this one.
I
as
don't
well.
really like Swiss.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. On a burger, like you said, mushroom Swiss, fine.
Yeah.
There are many cases though where I'm like, yes, I want Swiss cheese. Do they usually do Swiss on a Reuben? Or is
I
that
don't
a
know.
different kind of cheese? I think Swiss goes on a
That
Reuben.
sounds
Hold
right.
on.
Yeah, don't like that.
Google. Don't like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel like we each identified at least one that's like toward the bottom of our list. So
Yeah.
you don't love Swiss.
Don't love it.
I don't love blue cheese. You don't love cheddar. So I think
Wow.
we're there.
We did it.
I think we've identified the ends of the spectrum for us.
Swiss cheese on a
On a
Reuben.
Reuben?
On a Reuben.
Okay.
I knew that.
Yeah.
You did.
I said it with confidence.
And I
Okay.
still checked you.
I've recently heard that there are caves in Missouri where the government hides like billions of pounds of cheese. I haven't gotten to check into it yet, but if any of you guys want to kind of fact check it a little bit and get back to us, I would love to know how real this is. I don't know, but I've heard even that like maybe the majority of the cheese that we have on our pizzas comes from these cheese caves.
Real or not, I want it to be true.
You want it to be true, right?
Yeah.
There's that little bit of like conspiracy theorist in each of us. It's like some of these have to be true.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
can't all be true, but like
exactly.
some of them have to be. And I really want the cheese one to be true.
Yeah, and it's in Missouri.
Yeah.
so
it's close to us.
Man.
And what I saw was like potentially like 1.8 billion pounds of cheese.
Yes, in a cave, in caves,
In caves.
multiple caves.
Anyway, look up cheese caves. You'll find it. Okay. That's actually, believe it or not, that's what sparked this entire cheese conversation. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, wow. There it is.
Yeah, Stephanie just found it by Googling cheese caves.
Yeah.
Okay, we're diving into Reflect week 3. And sometimes we try to make a leap from our intro topic into this, and I'm just not even going to try. Like,
There's no way.
no, we are talking about a classic story, Mary and Martha. It's only 5 verses, but it packs some punch to it. So I'm really excited about this. This is, obviously Reflect. We're talking about like thinking about our motives and our internal world about why we do the things that we do. And so that's a cool take on this story. So that's what we're going to jump into. Who wants to go first with their big idea?
Martha is challenged to reflect on her attitude, priorities, and relationship with God.
Bingo.
Boom. Mine is our focus should be entirely on Jesus.
Good.
Also, nailed it. Mine was being with Jesus takes priority over doing for Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk context. This is Luke 10, 38 through 42. So what's context of the book? Or, I mean, we've spent quite a bit of time in Luke recently, so
Yeah, I feel like we've been in Luke a lot.
Yeah.
So I feel like this
I'm not
may
mad.
be. Oh yeah, no, it's a good one.
as opposed to don't finish that.
I won't. But so just like some things that we've said before in the past, Luke is a physician. He
Mhm.
traveled with Paul. He
Yeah.
was not an eyewitness to any of these accounts, but he was a researcher. So he did a lot of digging to get these stories.
Yeah, and he's doing it so that Theophilus can be sure of the things that he's heard about Jesus. So word about Jesus has spread everywhere. Theophilus hears it, wants to know the facts behind it and make sure it's validated. And so Luke would be an excellent one to have checking out the cheese caves, I think.
Yes. Yeah. He makes sure to cover all the bases. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. There's the link we were looking for.
And we tied it in.
Yep. Nailed it, guys. Good job. Okay. What else contextually? You got anything, Morgan, you wanted to say?
not necessarily big picture. I mean, I guess it's kind of big picture. Luke seems to take like a special interest in the role that women play in Jesus's earthly ministry, which I think is super cool. And just like with this story that we have, it's unique to Luke's gospel. So when we talk about Mary and Martha in this sense, you don't have this story anywhere else in the other gospels. And just cool that Luke puts a specific emphasis on women, learning from Jesus, going with him in the ministry. You see in Luke 8, he makes a specific mention of women traveling with Jesus and his disciples. So just cool to see that, especially in that culture where women were not seen as important.
Yeah.
So you also get to see an extra layer of how Jesus spent time with the least of these and cared about them.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is really good.
All right, and then let's jump into anything else immediate context you guys had?
Immediate context. So we got to just have a fun conversation around like, okay, so is this before or after Lazarus is raised from the dead?
Right.
So we see in John 11 that that's when that event happens. And then we also see Mary anointing Jesus's feet with her hair and the oil.
In John.
Right.
But not in Luke. This is
Not
the
in
only
Luke.
account that we have with Mary, Martha, and Lazarus in Luke.
Correct.
Yep.
And so, we just got to have a fun conversation. Like, is this possibly, because my brain always does combine those stories together from John 12 and with Mary and her hair and this story. And is it two different events or is it the same event? And so I think yesterday we landed on two separate events.
It seems to be, yeah. Seems to be two separate events because enough of the details are different. We were trying to see, like, is there any way that Mary, like, putting the perfume on Jesus' feet, like, is there any way that that's part of this story? But it didn't. It seemed like enough of the details are different that it's two separate accounts.
Right. So then we would say that there's two separate accounts that we know of Jesus going to their home.
Three because of Lazarus burial, Lazarus resurrection.
Isn't that in the same event as?
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. You might be right.
Because I think John 11 is whenever Lazarus is raised from the dead. John 12 is whenever Mary anoints his feet. And then this one.
You might be right.
And we know.
Well, so you have Jesus.
I don't know the break. Yeah.
Jesus raising Lazarus in John 11, and then you have like what seems to be maybe a break after that because it talks about Jesus therefore no longer walked openly among the Jews, but went there from there to the region near the wilderness, a town called Ephraim, and there he stayed with his disciples. And then you have 6 days before Passover, he goes back to Bethany where Lazarus was. So I definitely treat them as two separate things.
I would agree.
John reports those two. John talks about raising of Lazarus and Mary anointing Jesus. Luke is the only one who mentions this Mary and Martha situation.
And then we also said that so I think I've already said this but Lazarus, him raising him from the dead was after this instance here in Luke. Because there was a moment yesterday where like, well, actually, because Jesus already has his face towards Jerusalem, is this the same marker? But we don't have a direct timeline of like Jesus turning his face in chapter 9 in Luke to, the very end.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Agreed.
Just fun conversations.
Yeah.
To dive into.
Contextually, we also know that like Jesus really loved Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. So we see that, especially in John 11, it says, now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. And that's having to do with all of the like Lazarus' death stuff. So we know that he had a very close relationship with them, that he like multiple times goes to their house. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. More than just people that he's meeting along the way that he's like, yeah, I know these people. This is people that he cared about deeply, friends, loved. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also with the other two stories, you get to see the character of like Mary and Martha, like the difference in who they are in John and here in Luke, like similar, but
Yeah.
from two different accounts.
Yeah, so kind of like some consistency in their personality
Yes.
and stuff. Yep. Okay, let's dive in. Let's do Luke 10. We're going to start with 38 and 39.
Sure.
Is that what you guys want to do?
Yeah.
Now, as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching.
Mm-hmm. So the they there in 38, we can assume this is Jesus and his followers.
They went on their way?
Mm-hmm. And then Jesus is zooming into him, and he entered the village.
Implying that the disciples didn't go with him? Is that what you're...
No, hold on. Nope.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were trying to make a distinction between them and then Jesus. Because, yeah, I think his disciples probably went with him
Right.
into the village. That village we know from John is Bethany.
Yep.
That's where they lived.
Yep. And that's just on the outskirts of Jerusalem. I think I saw, what was it, like less than 2 miles from Jerusalem. So pretty darn close. It's like right there. Just like a little almost suburb of Jerusalem.
Yeah. Stephanie, did you mention that it seems that Jesus spent like his last week in Bethany before going to the cross?
That was one of the studies, like commentators I was reading, or I was studying yesterday more in exegesis than I probably should have. But I was reading a lot on like how the last week he potentially could have been staying at their house.
Yeah.
That last week.
That's a pretty cool thought.
Mm-hmm. Like going to stay with your best friend. Well,
right.
I don't want to say they're best friends, but he loved them. And we see
wanting
that.
to be surrounded by people you're close with as you're prepping to go to the cross. Yeah. Ooh. Just reminds me some of Chronicles of Narnia, whenever Aslan wants them close to him before he dies on the stone table. Anyway, sorry. Just got me in the feels a little bit. Snuck up on me.
Just a teary-eyed moment.
Yeah, it was. I grew up like we read those books all the time.
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah.
My mom loved them.
A woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. One of the questions I had was into her house. So one, it mentions Martha, but it doesn't mention Mary or Lazarus off the bat. And which a lot of commentators, and I didn't say this yesterday, but a lot of commentators would say that demonstrates that Martha was probably the oldest.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes a lot of sense. Some commentators, so it's interesting that welcomed him into her house. Like a lot of manuscripts don't have the into her house. And so I was reading back and forth, like some people trying to make a big deal out of the fact that like, hey, this was her house and that her, potentially her sister and brother lived with her or whatever, but it was hers. And then other people said, hey, that actually wasn't in the original manuscripts. And there's not really a reason that someone would have taken it out. There's much more reason that they would have added it in to try to clarify.
Yeah.
So all that's actually there is that Martha welcomed him and that into her house is kind of implied.
Okay.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
Might have been her house, might not have been.
Yeah.
Either way, she feels the responsibility to be hostess, and she is the oldest. Yeah.
In verse 39, so we've got where it says, so it's introduction of Mary, and it says she's sitting at the Lord's feet and listening to him teach. That sitting at the feet was common practice. You'd sit at the feet of a rabbi whenever they were teaching. It was a position of learning. It was this indication of this relationship between disciple and rabbi that you're here to listen, to learn. And then there's also some non-literal senses that it's used as well that I think we talked about yesterday of it just being this idea of, under someone's teaching, which I think is pretty cool. So it shows more than just like, oh yeah, I'm sitting there listening. Like this is a serious posture of like, you are the one teaching me and I'm your student.
Yeah. We also see in Acts 22:3 where Paul is sitting, where he says he sat at the feet of Gamaliel
or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
Goreville.
There it is.
Yeah.
Paul sat in Goreville, believe it or not. He was this way because he was looking for the cheese caves.
Let's go. I wonder if he found them.
I wonder. wonder.
I don't know if anybody could.
Um,
It's Paul.
Also, Mary is a very common name. So this is not to be confused with Mary Magdalene or Mary, the mother of Jesus. This is Mary, Martha's
Peter, Paul, and
sister.
Mary.
Who?
Or Peter, Paul, and Mary. Oh, okay. Well, it was a music group. Okay, whatever. Or Mary Mary. That was a music group as well.
I know Mary.
Okay.
Do you know Peter, Paul, and Mary?
I know of them.
Do you?
Plenty of our listeners know who Peter, Paul, and Mary are. You guys are
Hold on,
just...
Parker. Do you know? Okay. JC?
You guys are just too young. Except for you. I
I'm
don't know
older
why.
than you.
I don't know why you don't. Well, I listen to lots of like classic stuff.
So did I.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
well, on to the next thing.
Moving on.
Mm-hmm. So listen to his teaching. So listening to the word could have been joined to like her road, like her discipleship, like on to becoming discipled by Jesus. So.
Yeah, and that word listen too. One of the things that I thought was super important there was it means more than just listening. So, you hear the word listen, it's like, okay, yeah, you're listening to someone speak. Sometimes you're taking in part of what they're saying. It's in one ear, out the other. Like this is the Greek, like this word has an extra emphasis on actually like understanding what's being taught here. It's the same word that's used in Matthew 13. Jesus has just spoken in a parable to a group of people, and then he's talking to his disciples, and he's saying, like, and this is why I use parables, and that they, they don't hear it, they don't understand what I'm teaching them, which I just think is cool. That in this sense, it's saying not only was Mary sitting there at the feet learning from Jesus, but man, she was getting it, and she understood, and she heard the words.
Yeah. In a time whenever like a woman's access to a rabbi, like access to education period was very limited.
Yep.
Like for Jesus to welcome her, it just is like consistent with Jesus' character. And I'm saying like, let the kids come to me, him welcoming Gentiles, him welcoming the sick, him welcoming women, all these examples of people who would have been outcast in their time or like received less privilege.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. And so it's like almost like you definitely get that idea from this sitting at the Lord's feet, listening and understanding his teaching, this feeling of like, wow, she was like kind of a female disciple.
Yeah.
Oh, disciple just means learner. So good. What else there? Okay, let's go into 40. Do you guys think we need to do 40 and 41? Like, do we need to do the rest of the second chunk together? Let's do
I think putting them all together.
Yeah.
But Martha was distracted with much serving, and she went up to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her.
When you said Martha, Martha, my brain went, Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Oh,
not
okay.
the same thing at all.
So you know Brady Bunch, but not Peter, Paul, and Mary? Kids.
Was the Brady Bunch black and white?
I think.
Okay.
I think it started that way, right?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Way before my time, dude.
Wow. Oh, Peter, Paul, and Mary did Puff the Magic Dragon.
Oh, I know that song.
I know that one too.
Okay.
Cut my guitar playing teeth on that one.
Yeah.
No joke. Not like the first song I learned. That was Lord, I Lift Your Name on High.
You started out good.
Started out good. Then went to Puffin' the Magic Dragon. Okay. Okay, so we see here in verse 40, but Martha was distracted with much serving. So that means that like we can see here, it introduces the story by putting focus on Martha welcoming him. And she had a sister called Mary, but Martha, so Mary's sitting and listening to Jesus, soaking it up. Martha was distracted with much serving. And so we see here that Luke is intentionally setting up a compare and contrast situation between Mary and Martha.
Yeah. And I mean, it's super important to see that word serving doesn't have like anything negative really about it. I mean, yes, you have that word much right before it, which kind of shows that maybe there's something to it there, that it's excessive or there's a lot or it's, exuberant. But serving in and of itself, that word is just act of service. It's simple servitude. And like it's even used just in the simple term of like visiting someone's house and they're taking care of you. There's nothing wrong with it. So it's not a bad thing that she's doing. It's actually a good thing to serve. There's nothing wrong with her working hard. But there's something about it and about her heart behind it that is causing something to be off here, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the way she approaches Jesus. Like, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? There was also that the me part has left me to serve alone. Tell her then to help me, so that she's just so focused on what she's going to get out of like this.
Right.
I mean, I imagine my kids, they'll fight over who's going to do the dishes or like to put the dishes away. And they will like, they're supposed to do it. It's their turn to do it. It's not my turn anymore. It's their turn. And they could have already had the dishes put away by the time they finished arguing over the dishes.
I thought for a second you meant they fought over who got to do the dishes.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is a good problem to
great
have.
problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish.
Yeah. Never mind though.
No.
I hadn't thought about this, but so in that same realm of like Martha's service, was it a bad thing that she was doing? We have in John 12, so the instance where Mary, where she anoints Jesus, putting the perfume on his feet. You have there as well in John 12:2. So they gave a dinner for him there. Martha served, and Lazarus was one of those reclining with him at table. And then Mary takes and is at his feet again. And so like she doesn't get reprimanded here.
Right.
It seems to be like, it seems likely that this is an instance that is after the first one. So Martha didn't walk away from it thinking like, oh, I can't be serving.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a
that's
good
good.
point, because timeline, this is probably after that. And then if you think about it, like it seems from like, if you just take it as from like, okay, we're not supposed to serve, then her attitude would have changed. Something would have been different. But she doesn't really necessarily change what she's doing. But there's clearly something different in that second story with how she's doing it or how she approaches, Jesus about it. Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't even thought about that.
I think one of you said yesterday with like being raised in church, you would hear like, don't be a Martha, be a Mary, and that negative side that it could have had to it. And I just like how yesterday you were like, yeah, that's not at all what this is saying here. It's not telling us not to be Mary in the service aspect. It's telling like the heart.
Yeah, it's really easy to kind of like draw up a caricature or like paint Martha as evil or whatever, but she's clearly someone who loves Jesus and is loved by Jesus as well. So it's not like Pharisee versus it's not the same even as the Good Samaritan parable that came right before it, where it's like, oh, these people did this. Jesus is not trying to create these this is not like, these are real people, and it's not equal and opposite, caricatures of someone who's just too busy and someone who's contemplative. Sorry, I kind of rambled there.
No.
So then we have to ask the question, and like, what is actually going on here? Like, because there's something, Jesus is correcting her in some way. He says, so she comes to him and says, don't you care? Tell her to help me. And he doesn't say like, oh, you're right. Mary, go help your sister. He said, he actually corrects her and says, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled by many things, but one thing is, or about many things, but one thing is necessary. So in my mind, I saw like three potentials for what could be going on here. One, you can have the typical way that I heard it, and honestly, like through church history, like a lot of people have taken this as like that there's a difference between the active lifestyle and the contemplative lifestyle. Contemplative, like contemplating, sitting at the feet of Jesus, and that Jesus prefers, he wants everyone to be in the contemplative space, not the active space. So you could say the problem is that she was serving, and that Mary chose the better thing to be doing, which is listening. You could say that the problem was that Martha was distracted and anxious and troubled. So those are three like descriptive words that describe kind of like her internal status while she's doing these things. So that's what he's actually calling her out on. Or the problem could be the fact that she was upset with her sister for doing something. So it could be, I mean, you could even have a situation where like what they were doing are equally valid ways of serving Jesus. And not even that one is better than the other, but that they were equally valid. But that Martha's attitude toward her sister was what the problem was.
Yeah.
Just kind of an interesting.
Yeah, I tend to lean towards, at least for me, that because there's nothing wrong with serving, so I don't think that is the issue. Like I definitely am not on the side of like Jesus prefers you to be the contemplative versus the serving. But because there's nothing wrong with it, it seems to me like it is a focus, like where her focus is at issue. Like her question is about Mary. She's not even, it doesn't even seem to be worried about like what Jesus is teaching, or it doesn't seem that she's worried about like what she's missing out on. It is like directed and pointed to Mary. And it seems to me that, man, she shouldn't be like, her focus needs to be on doing good for Jesus and everything, and serving and whatever it may be. And it's a focus issue. So like her heart behind what she's doing, she shouldn't be worried. You wouldn't be worried about what Mary was doing if your focus was on,
Something that leaned that way to me was just noticing the distracted with much serving. And then what he specifically calls out is you are anxious and troubled about many things. And so I hear that, and here I'm just thinking about like the very practical way that human beings work, and that like if we feel that that we are being slighted, or that someone else is not carrying their weight. So if she feels anxious, she feels the burden of being like the perfect hostess. This is my home. Everything needs to be in spot. The table setting needs to be perfect. The food has to be excellent and delivered on time. The house needs to be spotless. And so she is freaking out about all that stuff, thinking that that's what the priority is. And then like she's just growing in bitterness and resentment toward her sister, because every time she walks by the door, she sees that Mary is sitting there at the feet of Jesus. And she cannot even see that what Mary is doing is valuable. She thinks she's being lazy. And so like, to me, that's what I read. That's what I see in it, is that things are driving, she's allowing serving Jesus to drive her to anxiety. That causes her to resent her sister.
It's interesting. This is obviously not a one-for-one story, because my grandmother was and is not Jesus.
Right.
But I can remember we would go to her house in the fall, my brother and I, and we would rake all of her leaves, and she had a big fenced-in backyard and like 17 trees. I mean, just a ton of leaves.
That's a lot of leaves.
Would take all day. And my brother would find a really easy way to go inside and just talk to my grandma. And I can remember walking by all the time being so mad about that. So it is easy whenever you're serving and you feel like you're doing the important thing. You're doing what needs to get done, and you walk by and you're like, that lazy bum in there just doing that. But at the end of the day, that's not where our hearts should be. And I realized that's not the same thing. I should have been mad at my brother. He was supposed to help me.
But was your brother's heart posture in that?
No, my brother's heart posture was, how can I get out of working?
Yeah.
But I just relating it to I can understand the frustration it can cause.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, man. So both of them have like this devotion, right? Like in this instance, like Mary is like devoted to Jesus and his teaching, and Mary is, wait, did
Martha.
I say?
You said Mary the first time. And
Yeah,
then Martha
okay.
For a second.
Yeah. And Martha is devoted to like her clean home and making sure everything is in order. And like as a mom, for me, like I know I can definitely fall into that wanting to make sure all of the things are done and get like miss the moments with my children, because I want to make sure that the house is in order and that the dishes are done or the laundry is done. And there's a difference whenever I'm doing those things with like an okay heart and I don't feel rushed to do the things. Like I can do it easily and I can pay attention to my kids.
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to rush to get the things done, I tend to just like not pay attention to my like they can come up and ask me something. I'm like, hold on, mommy is doing this, and I keep blowing them off.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like even just what 1 Corinthians 13 says to this kind of like that kind of thing as you're talking. It reminds me of the like Paul saying, if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels but have not love, I'm a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I give away all that I have and I deliver up my body to be burned but have not love, I gain nothing. It's like this. There's a way of doing those things that is filled with love that like does gain something that is. It's like I can't help but wonder if by the time Passion Week rolls around, John 12, when our Martha is serving, is she filled with love, and she now understands what it means to serve Jesus from a place of loving him rather than of resentment.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. That's obviously like all speculation.
Right.
Because I think like you're hinting at this earlier, Stephanie, but some commentators pointed out that like even in the story of Lazarus, you see that Jesus he rolls into town. Martha gets up and runs out of the house to go greet him and talk with him about what happened. Mary stays in the house. And so there seems to be even just some personality differences of like Martha being an activist thinks like, okay, I need to get out there and tell Jesus what happened because he can do something about it. Like he can make things happen. And Mary is still just kind of like sitting in the house waiting for Jesus to come to her, potentially still in the more contemplative, slightly more passive space. I don't know, just an interesting thought.
Yeah, I think that's good to note too, because we all are different personality-wise. It's not to say one is better than the other, and it's not to say that the contemplative person should never serve. None of that. But we all are just wired differently in the way that we worship, the way that we experience Jesus is different, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as Jesus is at the center of it in what we're doing.
That's good. I'm thinking like there's a way of sitting that is not Jesus honoring.
Yes.
It's like laziness, idleness and stuff. And there's a way of serving that's not Jesus honoring. Yeah. Go ahead.
One of the things that, and this is just a question, a possibility of kind of what's going on here as well. And I don't know if I think it is or I don't, but as I was studying yesterday, I saw the story in Mark where the woman pours out the flask of ointment on Jesus. Like she breaks it and pours it on him. And then the response is like, why was that wasted that way? And could it have been sold and given to the poor? And Jesus responds with like, hey, for the poor, you always have with you. And whenever you wish, you can do them good, but you do not always have me. So do you think there's something in here of like, Jesus is like, I'm right here right now. You don't need to make this lavish meal and do all these things. Like there's time and a place for that, but like, I'm here with you now. And I just kind of think that with, his face being set to Jerusalem and all that, and just trying to find the timeline of if he's in some instance, like say, hey, I'm here now. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I think so.
Yeah.
I even think like very practically, that's like you've been at somebody's house whenever I've been at people's houses where it's like they feel so much need to impress in the way that they host that they're always running around. And I'm like, I came here to spend time with you, not to like just be waited on hand and foot. It's like you can stop. Like what's the house is clean enough, and the food looks great, and let's just spend some time together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was kind of interesting. So I read a commentator that said, this Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. He said, it is not clear whether Jesus is contrasting many courses for the meal with only one course, or simply concern over many things with the one activity that matters. It's really interesting. Like, so I thought the possibility that that whole statement was about how much food she was making
right
is kind of interesting. Like, and it's not definitive one way or the other, but it's like, man, reading it as, hey, you're trying to get a 5-course meal together, and like, but we only need one. Like there's plenty of food out there already. Like you don't need to get all the sides and stuff ready.
Yeah.
Like you could stop right now and come sit with Mary if you want.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting possibility.
Yeah, his response being like, "Well, what you're doing is really unnecessary now. Like we have what we need. You've done a great job. Come sit." Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then I also read that the good portion, like has that phrase would be taken from like a food metaphor as well.
Yep.
So anyway. So, and then which will not be taken away from her. I also read like some early church fathers. So St. Gregory said, the works of an active life pass away with the body, but the joys of the contemplative life rather begin to increase from the end. That at the end of our human existence, like the need to serve Jesus actually goes away, and then like we enter into a space of being with Jesus and actually being served. And it's like, and so whenever Jesus says to her, she's chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away.
Yeah.
Like some of the early church fathers saw that as like a temporary versus eternal thing. Like
That's neat.
Martha, what you're doing has a shelf life on it. It's fine for now, but like what she's doing will pay eternal dividends.
Yeah.
Just kind of an interesting thought.
Yeah, that's good.
Another couple phrases that I really liked from some preachers. So from Spurgeon, he said, once more, Martha's spirit, so that fixation on service, is predominant in the Church of God to a considerable extent now, in the evident respect which is paid to the manifest and the small regard which is given to the secret. And what he's saying there is that like whenever we place priority on the like visible aspects of ministry and this fruit, this stuff that you can see that happens quickly, we are kind of exhibiting the same spirit as Martha. Like, hey, the most important thing is this, that the table is set and that this thing is done. And we accidentally like give very little importance to what happens in secret, like the work of praying and studying and being with Jesus. And then he says, Martha's fruits ripen very quickly. Mary's take time, which I thought was cool. It's like, Martha can see what she did instantaneously. The table's set, the food is ready, we're good to go. Ring the dinner bell. Whereas Mary's, it's like she's sitting with Jesus, and that's going to take like a lifetime for the things that she's hearing from Jesus to like fully come into bloom. So anyway, just some cool observations.
That's good.
Okay, so then this is not usually our realm, but like what kind of takeaways do you guys have from this? When we think about like the way this corresponds with reflect, what kind of stuff do you take away? What are you excited about with this passage?
Yeah, in the realm of reflect, it just puts me in the headspace of thinking back on, you know, what I've just done, whether it's serving or whatever it may be, and like where was my heart at in that? Did I do it so someone would notice I did it? Did I check a box? Like where was my heart at? And even when it comes to like sitting and like studying and learning and like who am I doing this for? Is just where it has me like sitting in right now. Taking a minute to actually take inventory of the things that you do daily, weekly, whatever it may be. Where's your heart at? Where's your focus? And like I said earlier, if it's not on Jesus, then it's in the wrong place.
Yeah. I think about like, so the people who stand before Jesus and said, Lord, Lord, did we not like cast out demons and heal the sick in your name and those kinds of things? And he says, depart from me, for I never knew you. I think about that caution to examine the core of like what we're doing and say like, hey, as I'm serving, am I serving from a place of like abiding in Christ, resting in him because I know and love him, I serve.
Yep.
So I think that, I think for both the people who are more Martha personalities and the people who are more Mary personalities, to recognize that like there's a particular temptation for your personality type.
Yep.
So the contemplatives, the more passive, like your sin temptation is going to be lazy.
Yep.
And make sure
Oh, yeah.
that like any of your sitting is actually sitting at the feet of Jesus, and that you're not sitting when you should be serving.
Yep.
And then for the Marthas, to make sure that your serving is tethered to like to the reality of like Jesus being with you, and like from a place of pleasure and joy. And don't be serving when you should be sitting. You know, that's kind of my thoughts. What do you think, Steph?
I think I would align a lot with what both of you guys have said. So I love to serve. And so holding on to that fact of like, where am I serving out of? Like, what heart posture am I holding? Am I doing this because I genuinely love the people that I'm trying to serve? Or am I doing this to check off a box? And so reflecting on that a lot of like, where's my heart at in this? And there are going to be times when you're serving and you just really don't want to. And still doing that because we love those around us in the church.
I think another like practical takeaway might be, if you find that in your serving you're distracted, anxious, and troubled, that's probably a good sign that there's something wrong with the way you're serving.
Something's off.
Yeah. So, and if you find that the way you're serving causes you to be like, that you find yourself frustrated with other people, that probably is a sign that something's off.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've said it multiple times, and I'm not trying to like beat a dead horse by any means, but I just think it's so important to not pit Martha and Mary against each other in this of like, I'm a Martha, I'm a Mary, so I'm a Mary, so I'm better than you.
Right.
Just recognizing and realizing the pitfalls to both, like you said, has really clicked with me in this. Yeah.
Cool.
That's good.
All right. Well, hope this has been helpful and gave some behind the scenes stuff for you guys as you're either prepping for or reflecting on this sermon. I've really enjoyed this text, even though it was a short one. There's a lot of rich reflection that happens from this. So thank you for joining us. As always, if you have questions or thoughts, send them to us, warehouse@cornerstone.team. We'd love to hear from you. And other than that, we'll let you go and talk to you next time.
Bye. Your turn. Say bye.
Bye-bye.
I feel like I was hanging up a phone right there when I'm like, I'm going to let you go and talk to you next time.
Talk to you next week.
No, you hang up.
No, you hang up.
Aww.